Marketing Your Private Practice is a podcast where you'll learn easy to implement tips and strategies to grow your business without spending all day online. I'm your host, Colaiacovo, and I teach practitioners the Thrive marketing method to create simple and streamlined plans by focusing on long-term strategies, not just social media. Discover ways to spend less time on your marketing, attract more clients, and build the financial freedom that comes with a thriving practice. One where you have time left in your day for the people and things that matter to you. Hey there, private practice heroes. Welcome back to the Marketing Your Private Practice with Kathy C podcast. I'm Kathy Colaiacovo, and we are continuing on with our series of how you can do your marketing in just 1 hour a week. And this topic today is all about the 15 minutes that can change everything. In the last episode, we talked about what to do in week 2 of your minimum viable plan for marketing, your MVP plan for marketing. And part of that hour is formatting and creating your social media content that you created from the article you created in week 1. And the other part of that hour is 15 minutes to spend towards networking online on social media. The entire Marketing Your Practice in 1 hour a week series breaks down your marketing into 4 simple weekly routines. And today we're talking about 15 minutes that you're going to do in several of those weeks in order to make your marketing work better. And these are 15 minutes that will get you more results from your marketing than any other activity or tactic you try. And if you can nail this, you are really all set to go with your marketing. But if you skip this, none of the other planned marketing will be nearly as effective. Getting social online and networking live is really the secret sauce that makes your social media marketing work. Now, in each of these 4 weeks, we're using as the sample for the content plan and the cycle we are reviewing. And they all end with 15 minutes to spend online networking and connecting with people, being nice and using my NICE system, which is all about networking is connecting and engaging. NICE, NICE. So today, I'm going to show you exactly how to follow and use my NICE system. And we will talk about where to spend your time, how to approach networking online so that it feels natural. And I will walk you through my daily Social 7 checklist, which is a simple system that helps you build real visibility and relationships in just 15 minutes a day. So if you're ready to make your social media time actually work for you, grab your coffee and we're going to get started. Networking online is truly one of the simplest ways to build visibility and connections. But most people overlook it because they think it is just posting on social media. Networking online is not about posting content. It is about talking to people while you're online. The difference is you're talking via typing versus face-to-face networking that you do in person. Now, personally, I think they're both important. I do feel that you should still be getting out and networking in person and doing some of that face-to-face with real people. But there are definitely ways that you can spend some time online connecting and engaging and building your visibility and trust and relationships that will lead to clients. And you can do that in just 15 minutes. And this is not new advice that I'm talking about here. This is something I've been teaching for years. I think it was back in 2010. I had a tagline back then for my business that I put on online as my social media VA. And it was be real, be social, get clients online. And that tagline theme and that promise is still true to this day because people who can get online and be real and be social are going to get clients from it. Because even back then, it was clear that the people who could connect and engage with others online were getting the best results from their marketing time, which is why I wanted this special episode dedicated to sharing exactly how you can make the most of your 15 minutes of networking time on social media. Because if you do it effectively, it can honestly be the best 15 minutes you'll spend out there online. But going live online for these 15 minutes, this is not about posting content. It is time that you should be spending connecting and engaging with people. This block of time is all about conversations, posting replies, posting comments, and talking to people. When you look at it from this point of view, is what helps you show up as a real person. And that's why it can help you build that trust that is so critical to someone making a decision to work with you. When you're networking online as well, it helps expand your reach. It connects you with potential clients. It can connect you with peers and collaborators as well. And one of the biggest hidden benefits that people miss when it comes to networking online, you get to see and hear some of the real words that people are using when they're talking about their problems, the words they say. And if you've been listening to my podcast at all for any length of time, you know that I have, number one, a podcast strictly on the words they say and how to use that as part of your marketing plan. But you also know that those words that real people use when talking about their problems, they are critical to helping you shape your own marketing messaging later on. So these 15 minutes that you spend will help you gather language. It will help you see these patterns and really understand what people care about when it comes to the issues and problems that they're having. And when you can gather and use that information, those words they say in your own marketing, that is going to help make your own marketing so much more effective. Now, let's dive into some best practices of what you can do spending your 15 minutes online. Because I know you're sitting there going, okay, Kathy, well, I've got 15 minutes. I'm not allowed to post content. What am I going to do? I really and truly believe that you have to approach this the same way you would at an in-person event. You need to be friendly, you need to be professional, and you need to be genuine and authentic. You cannot hide behind a wall or a window or any kind of way to block yourself from others so that they can't see the real you. You also want to make sure that if you're in groups in particular online, that you're following any community rules that they have and be respectful about that. Don't get in there and just selling all the time and just saying, oh, if you need help with that, sign up with me. If you need help with this, sign up with me here. You don't want to be that person. You want to be engaging in conversations. You want to answer questions. You want to ask questions, maybe share insights that will help other people. You never know who's reading those comments. It could be a future client. It could be a future referral partner. Could be somebody that could be a collaborator on a future project as well. There's so many people and opportunities out there, and you just don't know where any one of those comments could land. I'll tell you right now, I have a chapter in a book that I was part of that came from engaging with people online. I had an opportunity to get on a podcast one time, and that came from me helping somebody with a problem that they had online in a Facebook group. There are so many ways that these connections can help you grow your business, but people don't see this time, this networking online, as being an effective part of their marketing strategy, but really can help you grow your business. And that's why I say it is definitely not about selling or broadcasting. It's all about connection and engagement. And that is the heart of this nice system that I teach. It is definitely not posting a ton of content to catch up on what you forgot to do before. That's why we have that MVP marketing plan set up so that those kinds of posts are prepared. They're not forgotten. Your brilliance tips get out there, your promotional posts to read your blogs, evergreen content to sign up for your lead magnet. These should all be planned and scheduled ahead of time. And then your 15 minutes online is all about talking to people. Where to network is often the next biggest question I get asked by people. Well, let me give you some places and ideas of where you should start when it comes to networking online. Definitely pick spaces and social media channels that actually work for you. If you absolutely hate Facebook, I probably wouldn't recommend spending time there. If your ideal clients are on LinkedIn, then I would say spend some time over there. So you have to look at your ideal client, where they would be hanging out online. This is why this is part of some of our define your client and your ideal client profiles that are so critical. You need to know where they're hanging out online so that you can be part of that. Now, you can't always get inside of those areas. I'm a perfect example of that. I would love to get in some of the dietitian and nutritionist groups out there online, but that's not my profession. So I can't get into that group. So sometimes you have to think a little outside of the box there. Look at professional associations, online forums related to your industry or your services. Think of these as digital communities where peers and ideal clients might be hanging out and spending time. They might be tricky to figure out and find the good ones, and it will take some trial and error. Trust me, sometimes you discover that certain groups are not worth being in. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a local community group here. My husband told me that I was a much happier person when I left that group. So you have to know what are good groups and what are bad ones. And it may take a little bit of get into some of these groups, watch what's going on, participate a bit, and decide if it's going to be helpful or not. There are lots of groups out there that can be very helpful for getting some research or even connecting and engaging with people in your target market, those ideal clients that you're looking for. Sometimes you might find some of the best groups are on LinkedIn or even Reddit. Reddit these days has some awesome conversations and threads going on. There's a lot of research you could do out there, and there is a ton of content there with the words they say in it. You may find that Reddit has some really good spaces where you can be to get some good background information or to be connecting and engaging with people as well. It's really all about figuring out where those ideal clients are hanging out online and determining if you can hang out there with them too. Sometimes you can, sometimes, like in my case, you can't. But that's where community groups can come into play as well, because sometimes maybe it's a neighborhood group that you can actually get into that is a good place for you to do some of that networking and engaging online. Now, I want to finish this off by telling you all about the Daily Social 7 and giving you a little bit of structure for those 15 minutes. This is what this list is all about. It's 7 activities I've been teaching clients to do online that helps them make the most of those 15 minutes. And well, honestly, what it actually helps them the most with is helping them avoid wasting time and scrolling for nothing out there. Because if you're going to put 15 minutes into online and social media, I want you to make sure that you're putting it to good use. And if you've ever watched 15 minutes disappear, it takes nothing at all for that time to pass by while you scroll and do nothing but, watching cat videos. In my case, I love to watch scary prank videos. And that scrolling is not helpful for you when it comes to your business. It's great if you're going to spend a bit of time and have a little break. That's perfect. But if your time online is intended to be helping your business and do some marketing, then you want to have a bit of structure to it. And that's what this list does. It helps stop that endless scrolling for nothing. This list includes 7 things that you can do in those 15 minutes that you're spending online. I call it the Daily Social 7 checklist because it was originally created for doing this on a regular basis online. But as time has evolved since I started doing this kind of marketing and training back in 2009, life has changed a lot and social media doesn't work exactly in the same way. It still works, but how it works for business, for solopreneurs in particular, practice owners, service providers, it is different. I used to be able to get clients off Twitter all the time. I actually left Twitter a couple years ago because I couldn't take the challenge of the conversations that would go out over there. It just didn't help my mental health and I had to close that down. 18,000 followers, I think I had at that point, but it just was not doing the same as it used to do. That is why I call it the Daily Social 7, but you can look at it as when you spend some time for that day on there is what you can do. If all you want to do for this is those 15 minutes a week, that is perfectly fine. If you want to do it a few more times, that is fine as well. It's all part of the formula that I have for content online: business, sales, and persona. This networking time is 100% persona content. It's about making you real to people online because you're networking, connecting, and engaging with people. And the first item that's in there is, very simply, post something, post an update or a story online. And this is not to be a post about your blog or a post about your lead magnet. That's the pre-scheduled stuff. So leave that behind. This is a spontaneous post. It could have a picture that you put with it. It could have a quick video if you want to, but it needs to be definitely persona. It needs to be something real from you. It needs to be a little content from you. Some examples for this would be: post a picture of you with a coffee mug starting your day off if you're posting in the morning. That's as simple as I'm talking about here when I say post an update or a story. I like to post pictures from our walks with Pepper in the park. If I put it up as a story, I'm not necessarily posting it with any content or caption. Just put the picture there. I might want to add a hashtag. Maybe I want to add the location. It's not anything that I have to think anymore about in the way of marketing my business. It's really something that's just spontaneous about me. If you're at an event, that's a perfect time. Take a picture of somebody there with you at the event and put it up online. Those are the kinds of posts that we're talking about here. So that's the first thing on our checklist. The next thing that you want to do on your list is to check your mentions and reply to the people who have tagged you or commented back to you. Often you'll find that these comments or tags come back from the posts that you actually had pre-scheduled, so that planned content that was part of your MVP plan. This is where you find those replies and mentions start coming back from. Then you also want to make sure that you're checking and responding to any direct messages you get. And I always say, do not forget these. There are a lot of people out there that try to send us messages instead of sending emails or using a contact form on the website. So always look for these and look for where those messages can hide too. For instance, on Instagram, there's your primary message spot, but then there's also unread, general, and requests. Sometimes you might find in the message request there that there's actually an important message from a potential client or someone who might want to ask you more questions that might lead to some other opportunity. So always take a minute and look at those direct messages and respond to them as well. The fourth thing on this checklist is to comment on at least 2 posts in the feed. So this is where I want you to be scrolling through and looking for some specific kind of content that would allow you to reply back and make comments on. Post about something related to your business and the services you offer is ideal. Those can be hard to find at first. So sometimes it might just be a post from a fellow colleague that you know, and they put something out there online and you think it was great advice, so you could put a comment in there too. The idea is here, you want to make sure that it's not always you looking for people to react to you, but that you're reacting back to them as well and connecting back to them by commenting on their posts in the feed too. If somebody put something really interesting out there that you liked, repost it and add your own commentary to it as well. That's really good to do on LinkedIn in particular. This might take a little bit to find the good content to do. This is where sometimes using hashtag searches can help you find places and find content that is helpful for you to make comments on. I do encourage you to try and mix it up so it's not all colleague posts. If there's a hashtag like that and you see a post from somebody that you could give them a quick tip or advice or an inspirational message to go in there, do that. Those are sometimes the way that people can lead to booking a consult and booking in as a client. Because if you're helpful enough to share some advice or tips like that online, imagine how helpful you could be if I was paying you for the service. The fifth thing on the list here is much more challenging these days to do than it used to be, but trying to engage within a group or a community out there. Ones that are relevant for you and your business and ones that matter to you. So don't just randomly post into communities, but make sure that you're also connecting in some of these groups or communities and that you're engaging with people there and talking back to them. It's going to take a little bit of practice and trial and error to find the right places to go to. And then you might just find some gems in what you're doing and the kinds of communities that you'll find to connect in as well. The last item in the list here is to make sure that you're taking time to follow or connect with at least 5 to 10 people every time you go online and do your networking. And yes, this means taking the time to ask some people to connect with you. You don't always want to be the one asking for those connections and following new people for the first time. Take some initiative and ask them first. Back in the day, I used to teach people to have a friending policy because mostly we did this through Facebook. But things have changed now. And few people, in fact, I don't encourage people so much to find friends on Facebook to follow, so much as I do find people to follow and connect with on Instagram or Threads or LinkedIn or Facebook pages. That's another good one. Or groups, like connecting and engaging with people in groups. It does mean taking the time to ask people to connect, but you need to be building that audience online. And it means taking a little time to seek out people that you'd like to connect with. And sometimes it's just as simple as a follow. So it doesn't have to be a real in-depth plan on following and connecting with new people. But you want to be building your community and you want to be building your connections that may lead to the opportunities that help you grow your business. And that's what the Daily Social 7 is all about, is just 7 simple things that you can do when you're spending your 15 minutes online on social media to do your networking. It's a quick, repeatable system. It helps you focus those 15 minutes so that you're not wasting your time, and it helps you keep your name visible and your network growing. And we've all heard it a million times. Your network is your net worth. The same applies today, and the same applies to solopreneurs, small business owners, large business owners. The people that you make are the connections that will lead to new opportunities. And when you hear me say that you can spend just 15 minutes on social media and get an ROI, you can, but it's not going to be by spending your time making a post to use once and then never again posting it, or posting more and more and more and more content, hoping something will stick somewhere along the line. This time online, these 15 minutes, is about doing something nice. Networking is connecting and engaging. That time spent doing that will get you way more results from your marketing than anything else. And that is your 15-minute networking plan that I wanted to share with you. It's the final piece of this week 2 in the marketing hour. And you're going to do the same thing in weeks 3 and weeks 4. We've got about 45 minutes of work to do in that hour, and then spend 15 minutes networking online. And that's your action step from this lesson. Get online and spend 15 minutes. I challenge you to go and spend 15 minutes just networking, because a lot of people will not, and they do not do it. They ignore it because they don't see the value in it. But that's the worst thing you can assume about this marketing activity. It is the one where you show up and you connect and you engage with people. And that means you're building the trust and relationships that matter and that can lead to new opportunities. Trust and those relationships are the key elements in helping people make a decision to work with you. So do not skip this part of your MVP plan. In fact, this is the one thing that if you might want to do more of something, this is it. Don't post more and more content. Do more and more networking. And track your results. Check your followers. Check your DM requests. Check your lead magnet signups. Your emails to booking clients and consults. If you're like many of my own clients, doing this networking online consistently shifts those results, and almost always in an upward way. And once you've completed this 15 minutes, you will have finished your full hour of the week 2 for your marketing. Your content is formatted, you've got your images created, and you've done some networking. Make this a habit. And next time, we're going to talk about what you do in week 3 and that 1 hour of marketing time there. I can share with you now, 15 minutes is going to be for networking, but I'm going to show you also how to get a newsletter formatted and scheduled to go out in less than 1 hour too. So be sure you're hitting follow wherever you're listening into the podcast here to get notified when that episode is live. And that's it for today, folks. This is Kathy Colaiacovo signing off, saying thank you so much for tuning in and following along with all of my lessons, but especially these ones that are in this series of Marketing Your Practice in an Hour a Week. And remember, to thrive in practice or business means making small, consistent connections. And you can do that by networking online, being real, and being you. Be nice. Networking is connecting and engaging. And that will do more for your marketing results than hours and hours of random posting and scrolling online. I promise you. And I'll see you next time. You can find all of our show notes and resources mentioned at marketingyourprivatepractice.com. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at pepperitmarketing and say hi. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, and make sure to rate and review the podcast and hit subscribe on your favorite player so you don't miss any future episodes.